evening. It's 8 o'clock in Banjul. This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Karaba Avenue. And I am Juldan Jai. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. The First Lady, Fatoumata Baro, presided over the commissioning of the newly drilled boreholes in 3 villages in the West Coast region. And the Kanifing Municipal Council launched a call center, a magazine and a village fleet management on Friday as part of its environmental transformation project. The Gambia Standards Bureau organized a one-day sensitization and consultative forum on Friday on the standardized conductors of insulated cables. And following frequent encounters with snakes by farmers and women gardeners of Kerewan City Koba in Yanija, residents were presented with 250 pairs of protective shoes by a Belgian couple. In international news, today, the 19th of August, is World Humanitarian Day, observed annually to commemorate the tragic bombing of the United Nations headquarters in Baghdad 2 decades ago. Those were your headlines, and now the news in detail. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News with me, Julda Yai. On Friday, the First Lady Fatoumata Baro presided over the commissioning of the newly drilled boreholes in 3 villages of Bonsa, Jiboro Jida and Kubariko, all in the West Coast region. The community boreholes are through a joint partnership between the First Lady's Foundation and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in USA and Ghana. Aliu Sise tells us more.
Despite many Gambian communities having access to potable drinking water, there are still a good number who are still without. Access to clean drinking water is one of the urgent development issues confronting many communities. To drink unsafe water is to take a serious health risk, according to health experts. But for many people in the world, this is a risk they simply cannot avoid as they lack adequate or no safe drinking water. According to the International Convention on Human Rights, the state is now acknowledged as duty bearer responsible for ensuring access to water. But where the state cannot do it alone, humanitarian organizations such as the First Lady's Foundation and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are complementing the government's efforts to achieve the goal of universal access to safe drinking water to communities such as this. Joyful residents of Bonsa, Jiboro Jida and Kubariko, all in hard-to-reach areas, turned out in large numbers to welcome and express gratitude to the First Lady and her visiting delegation for addressing one of their needs. Speakers including Louis T. Mendy, youth leader of Bonsa village, said his community has been struggling to access safe drinking water.
For us, this is a huge blessing for the village and for every person that is present, and that we are very much grateful for this project. It is said water is life, and through water, we can have our existence and our being.
Betty Sen, Chief Executive Officer of the First Lady's Foundation, and Elder S. Gifford Nelson, President for the West Africa area of the church, said the free commission boreholes are part of the 18 community boreholes drilled across the country for less privileged communities. They welcome their new partnership as a beginning of what they hope will be a lasting one.
The FARC Foundation has a partnership agreement with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to supervise the administration of 18 community boreholes, which one of them we are here today to officially inaugurate. This is to widen the scope of our cooperation, aiming at strengthening bilateral relationships in the future for the 2 organizations.
The church has only been in existence in the Gambia for 18 months. But during that time, we have developed some very close relationships, specifically with Her Excellency. And we admire you, and we admire all that work with you to try and uplift and bless others.
Governor Usman Bojang of West Coast Region hailed the First Lady for her foundation's response to social development. He said the boreholes will transform these communities.
What that shows is her resilience, her ability to make things happen, and most importantly, her sleepless nights and thoughts, unless what she wants to make sure every child, every woman, everybody in this country get what they deserve.
The First Lady also took the official kickoff of the football tournament, which opened with a game between Kobariko and Makumbaya villages. They thanked and commended the First Lady for her support to sports development in the community. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
Now, the Kanifing Municipal Council on Friday launched a call center, a magazine, and a vehicle fleet management as part of its environmental transformation project. Jenaba Sonko attended, and this is her report.
€3 million grant for the Kanifing Environmental Transformation Program, KEPT, was launched last year. The project's objective is for a sustainable focus on new integrated waste management approaches to drive environmental, social and economic transformation in the municipality, from pollution, health and environmental challenges to become a sustainable economic opportunity that strengthens urban governance, inclusion and sustainable resource management. The launching of the call center and the magazine are under the education component of the project, while the fleet management is under the waste management component. Aliu Nyang is the project director.
Let's recall that the Kanifing Environmental Transformation Program was aimed to use a sustainable focus on new integrated waste management approaches to drive environmental, social and economic transformation in the lifestyles of Kanifing municipality residents.
The fleet management will oversee all fleet performance and fleet maintenance to increase productivity and accountability. For effectiveness, monitoring devices have been installed on Kanifing municipality vehicles. Pasit Sise is the CEO of KMC.
As a council, our ultimate objective is to provide basic social services to residents, which I strongly believe is the sense of direction we are pursuing. The call center or the call system will enable a more timely response to the complaints from residents, while the fleet management platform will improve efficiency and sustainability.
The call center will support residents of the municipality to make inquiries and complaints. The deputy mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council says the toll-free 1244 number will replace social media as the method for sending complaints.
Over the past years, residents of the municipality registered their complaints through social media such as Facebook, WhatsApp messages, etc. to address these complaints in a timely manner. The project has established a centralized call center that fields calls from residents regarding access waste collection services and filing complaints of littering.
Some of the related interventions include community transfer stations, bins for waste management, diversion of various waste streams, and investment to accelerate the transition of backwater dump site into a transfer station. Also, the KEPT will establish the first ever municipal library for students and young entrepreneurs in the green economy. Lastly, the project is expected to enhance the public park infrastructure, including children's play areas, along with tree planting across the 19 wards of the municipality. Some of these engagements have already started. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenaba Sonko.
The Gambia Standards Bureau organized a one-day sensitization and consultative forum on Friday on the standardized conductors of insulated cables. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The Gambia Standards Bureau is a government agency mandated to develop standards on products, systems and services, including their promotion and implementation. In addition, the Bureau conducts conformity assessments, which involve testing, inspection and certification to determine conformity or otherwise of a product or service to applicable standards. Over the years, Gambia has done little or no conformity assessment on goods and products imported into the country due to weak regulatory framework. As a result, a number of bad quality products are seen in our local markets and supermarkets. Papa Seka, Director General, Gambia Standards Bureau, explains the dangers of substandard cables.
Substandard cables fail in their compliance with applicable standards in one or more of their structural components, but usually all of them together. They fail in meeting the requirements on the conductor itself, the insulation and protective layer. The substandard cable is also undersized, whereby the conductor does not meet the minimum cross-sectional area as determined by its specific resistance. And they are also not manufactured in accordance with specifications in the standard on size and number of wires.
Experts attribute the numerous fire incidents in our homes, industrial facilities, and public structures to poor electrical connection, substandard cables, overloaded sockets, and lack of maintenance, among others. The Gambia Standards Bureau Director General Mr. Seka says as a bureau, they responded by rolling out standards and their promotion and related capacity building, targeting all stakeholders.
We have not relented, and this meeting today is one such intervention. However, our role as an interface for both businesses and industry and the regulatory body and implementer, where appropriate, must be complemented with the active contribution of regulatory bodies, importers, distributors, technicians, and even consumer advocacy. In this regard, a significant gray area is a clearly identifiable regulatory body.
Louis Moses Mendy, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, underscores the importance of electrical installation and why its quality must never be compromised.
The Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure has over the years worked and collaborated with the Bureau in raising standards and quality of our deliverables through the applications of relevant standards. As a founding member of the National Electronic Technical Committee, we have and we will continue to contribute and effectively participate in the promotion of standards at all levels.
A demonstration of the different types of adapters was done, and the substandard adapters blow up within seconds. Authorities are therefore appealing to the public to avoid using substandard products, which are a recipe for fire outbreaks and electrocutions. Julden Yai for QTV News.
Now we will go for a short commercial break. When we return, we have some more local as well as international news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future, tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. Now, following frequent encounters with snakes by farmers and women gardeners in Kerewa and Sitokoto in Nyanija in the Central River region, residents were presented with 250 pairs of protective shoes by a Belgian couple to protect them from snake bites. Our regional correspondent, Bakari Balde, visited the village garden, and this story is narrated by Momodou Lamin Choi.
Gardeners are more likely to encounter snakes as gardens tend to attract wildlife. Farmers and women in this community are so worried about the prevalence of snakes in their village garden that they contacted a Belgian couple to assist them. So Isabel and Steven, who were not present at the presentation, thought that protection from snake bites is a better option than killing the reptiles, as all snakes are important members of the ecosystem. Aja Jeta is the president of the Women's Vegetable Garden. She narrates a scary incident that prompted Belgian couple to assist them.
Last year, while we were walking in the garden, We saw a dangerous snake and it was not running away. We killed it, and I sent the picture in our WhatsApp group that Isabel opened for the women. I did that as a fun thing, but Isabel took it seriously, and she went to a shoe factory and told them about the dangerous walking conditions in a snake-infested garden without protective wear. That's when she ordered these shoes for us, so that we can protect ourselves when working in the garden. We would like to thank them so much.
Mamadou Kamaso, the manager of the village garden, explains the impact the shoes will make in protecting them.
We
have killed lots of snakes in this garden. We are happy that we have these boots because snakes will normally bite people on their feet. With these shoes, our feet are protected and snakes cannot bite us on the lower parts of our body. So we are very happy. In fact, these shoes will also protect our heels from developing cracks during the cold season.
High boots are effective in preventing snake bites, since the fangs of snakes are not strong enough to penetrate the thick material. Fanta Kamara, the oldest woman in the village, said they have endured numerous challenges and having the shoes will protect them.
They have protected us from snakes because we live with them here. Anytime you hear someone shout, always expect that the person saw a snake. We thank Allah and the donors for coming to our aid. With these shoes, we can even step on snakes and we won't be bitten.
Mohamed F. Jabi is the coordinator of this presentation. He explains some of the assistance Isabel has been rendering to this rural community.
I have been in this village, provide them with medical assistance. Not only that, she was providing them with soap and oil and cooking oil. And Isa also went further, together with Stephen, provide us with a bakery, the milling machine. They have spent a lot of money to help the women of Kerewan Stokoto in Nyanita. We would like to thank them very much.
Like all land animals, snakes need fresh water and food to survive. So a garden with borehole or well infested with insects and frogs is an ideal foraging place for them. Farmers and women gardeners in this community are delighted that they can now work in their various farms and gardens without worrying about snakes. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Let's now shift our attention to news beyond our borders. World Humanitarian Day is observed annually on the 19th of August to commemorate the tragic bombing of the United Nations headquarters in Baghdad 2 decades ago. It serves as a tribute to humanitarian efforts, recognizing the unwavering dedication to those who tirelessly provide aid to people in crisis and conflict.
World Humanitarian Day, established by the General Assembly, to coincide with the day when 22 colleagues lost their lives at the United Nations office in Baghdad, is an occasion to honor fallen colleagues and the thousands of aid workers who continue to support those affected by conflicts and disasters across the globe. Here, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres explains.
This year's World Humanitarian Day marks the 20th anniversary of the deadly attack on the Canal Hotel in Baghdad. On that dark day, we lost 22 colleagues, including Special Representative Sergio Vieira de Mello. That tragedy marked a change in the way humanitarians operate. Because today, although humanitarians are respected around the world, they may also be targeted by those who would do them harm. This year, global humanitarian operations aim to get life-saving aid to 250 million people in 69 countries, 10 times more than at the time of the Canal Hotel bombing.
On its 20th anniversary, World Humanitarian Day unites the global humanitarian community, reaffirming their commitment to serving communities regardless of circumstances under the theme of #NoMatterWhat. Humanitarians share a singular mission, preserving lives, safeguarding well-being, and delivering essentials to those in need. They stand shoulder to shoulder, with the communities they assist offering a beacon of hope. In the Gambia Red Cross Society continues to play a significant role in ensuring the survival, dignity and well-being of crisis-affected individuals. They have partnered closely with the government in emergency relief operations during critical events like the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2022 rain and flood disaster, and incidents like the recall of contaminated cough syrups. On this day, we celebrate humanitarians worldwide who have courageously entered disaster zones and conflict areas, delivering fundamental necessities such as food, water, shelter, education, health, nutrition, and protection. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyeba.
Also in international news, with Zimbabweans set to vote in Wednesday's presidential election, we take a look at some of the challenges the country is currently grappling with as incumbent President Emmerson Mnangagwa faces a swift challenge from his main rival, former Information Minister Nelson Chamisa of the Citizens Coalition for Change. Let's have more details of that in this report by Ansumana Esonyase.
Incumbent President Mnangagwa have registered to contest in what will be Zimbabwe's 9th election since independence in 1980. However, next Wednesday's election is largely seen as a rematch between President Mnangagwa and 45-year-old Nelson Chamisa, who he defeated in the 2018 elections. The Electoral Commission revealed that 6.5 million people have registered to vote across the 12,340 polling stations in the country's 10 provinces. The elections come on the backdrop of severe economic challenges, with the country registering one of the world's highest rates of inflation. Some within the opposition have questioned the credibility of the elections, with Douglas Mwanzora, leader of the Movement for Democratic Change, withdrawing his candidacy on August 8. He alleged that the election is a farce. However, the Electoral Commission says his candidature remains as the ballot papers had already been printed. Some also expressed concern with what they say is the intensifying crackdown of the opposition, as they accuse government of targeting critics. The country currently faces economic challenges, a rise in youth unemployment, and allegations of rights abuses. The economy is said to be at its worst in the last 10 years, with prices of commodities rising by 86% in what is one of the highest annual inflation rates in the world. In addition to these challenges, businesses are struggling to cope with crippling power outages and an unstable local currency, which lost 86% of its value between January and early June this year. And as the opposition accuses the government of not doing enough to address the high inflation, poverty, and instilling a climate of fear, the country also remains under U.S. economic and travel sanctions and a European Union arms embargo. However, incumbent President Mnangagwa says Zimbabweans need to trust him a second time, and that he and not the opposition has what it takes to turn things around. Ansumana Esonyase for QTV News.
The report by Ansumana Esonyase brings us to the end of this news bulletin. But before we go, here is a recap of the headlines. The First Lady Fatoumata Barrow presided over the commissioning of the newly drilled boreholes in 3 villages in the West Coast region. The Kanifing Municipal Council launched a call center, a magazine and a village fleet management on Friday as part of its environment transformation project. And the Gambia Standards Bureau organized a one-day sensitization and consultative forum on Friday on the standardized conductors of insulated cables. Now, following frequent encounters with snakes by farmers and women gardeners of Kerewan Sitokoto in Nyanija, residents were presented with 250 pairs of protective shoes by a Belgian couple. In international news, today, the 19th of August, is World Humanitarian Day, observed annually to commemorate the tragic bombing of the United Nations headquarters in Baghdad 2 decades ago. That's all we have for you in this bulletin of the news.